On a cold January morning in 2023, a man stepped off an Air France flight at Ouagadougou airport. His sultan pepper hair and military build hinted at a disciplined past. But it was his composure that caught the attention of airport security. His name, according to the modest passport he carried, was Alexander Volkov. No media waited, no entourage greeted him, just a solitary black sedan parked at the far end of the VIP terminal. Inside his briefcase were documents that, within months, would quietly reconfigure the architecture of Burkina Faso's leadership. Volkov moved through Ouagadougou with the precision of someone who had done this before. For 6 months, his presence in the capital would remain shrouded in silence. Officially, he was a consultant. Unofficially, he was a master strategist, sent by no state but welcomed through back channels. Colonel Karim Ouedraogo had summoned him after months of quiet consultations with Moscow's unofficial envoys. Volkov was no stranger to the continent. After postings in South Africa, Ghana, and Nigeria, he had become a phantom in Africa's corridors of power. In 2010, he left official diplomatic service, preferring instead to work through his own firm, whose clientele included at least 3 heads of state. In Sahelian politics, his nickname was whispered, the Kingmaker. When Traoré's government, fresh from the revolution of 2022, looked for a way to move from survival to strategy, Volkov was the answer. He checked into a nondescript hotel under an alias. His days began early and ended long after midnight, spent inside a secured building near the presidential palace. Within days of arriving, he had evaluated every key figure in Traoré's cabinet. He wrote detailed psychological assessments in French, Russian, and Arabic. His insights, though privately shared, later proved eerily accurate. Volkov didn't teach in lectures. He challenged in war rooms. His modules weren't theoretical. They were case-based, live exercises drawn from real-world crises. He broke the team into cells and simulated diplomatic failures, media sabotage, and military standoffs. Strategic planning, communication, economic resilience, and intelligence building formed the skeleton of his program. Each week Traoré and his team were tested. In private, Volkov worked closely with Traoré. He recognized the president's charisma, but warned of its volatility. "You are a mirror," he told him. "The people reflect in you, but a mirror must be anchored, or it breaks with the wind." Their one-on-one sessions were intense, at times philosophical. Volkov taught him the nuances of emotional control, the cost of delayed decisions, and how to weaponize silence in negotiations. February turned to March, and the first challenge emerged. France reacted aggressively to Burkina Faso's diplomatic moves. But Traoré's team, now seasoned by Volkov's crisis simulations, navigated the storm with a calm that stunned analysts. The response to the press was subtle but assertive. Their statements bore Volkov's fingerprints, measured, layered, impossible to misconstrue. In April, Volkov introduced the concept of multipolar diplomacy. He emphasized that small nations must never attach themselves to one power. Instead, Burkina Faso must balance between Russia, China, Turkey, and emerging African powers. Volkov laid out maps, trade corridors, and timelines. He redesigned Burkina Faso's diplomatic strategy like a chessboard. For every move toward Moscow, there was a counter with Ankara or Beijing. May brought economic strategy. Volkov scrutinized the country's dependence on the CFA franc and laid the groundwork for currency diversification. He proposed gold instruments and parallel trading arrangements with non-Western economies. The focus shifted to agriculture, gold exports, and energy independence were dissected and rebuilt into new frameworks. But it was June's training in intelligence and security that revealed Volkov's darkest expertise. He spoke of sabotage not as an if, but as a when cyberattacks, foreign proxies, regional destabilization. He covered them all. Volkov reorganized the intelligence structure, implementing early warning systems that drew data from military sources, media channels, and even local whispers in villages. His most cryptic work was in July, leadership psychology. These were private sessions, just him and Traoré behind sealed doors. What they discussed remained a mystery, but from that month onward, Traoré changed. His speeches grew more precise. His public posture shifted. Where once was passion, now lay a cold clarity. He had matured, visibly and irrevocably. In August, Volkov conducted final evaluations. He compiled a 200-page guidebook tailored to Burkina Faso's challenges. Each cabinet member received a personalized dossier. Traoré's assessment ran 18 pages, ending with one sentence: lead like a soldier, think like a historian. And then, as quietly as he arrived, Volkov disappeared. No media, no farewell. A trusted aide escorted him to a chartered flight. He left behind no digital trace, only encrypted drives and handwritten notes. Within weeks, rumors swirled that Western embassies had raised concerns over his influence. Intelligence circles speculated that he had become too powerful to remain visible, but the effects of his presence did not vanish. Burkina Faso adopted a new gold trading model. It engaged China and Turkey through bilateral pacts. It reduced its CFA franc dependency by 30% in under a year, Domestic policies grew sharper. Public confidence soared. Traoré's approval ratings broke records. Western media criticized the Russianization of Burkina Faso. Traoré countered publicly, "We are not becoming anyone's satellite. We are becoming our own center of gravity." By early 2024, whispers emerged from Chad. A similar training initiative was underway. Documents bore Volkov's signature. Analysts speculated that Volkov had launched an unofficial Pan-African strategy school, one nation at a time. His consulting model labeled mentorship was now studied in African leadership forums. Volkov taught no ideology. He offered tools. He offered silence where noise ruled, precision where chaos thrived. His legacy was not in speeches or institutions, but in changed men leaders who learned to think beyond borders, beyond fear, beyond dependence. In Ouagadougou, in the office where he once coached a young president, a framed quote now hangs on the wall. "Those who teach you to see, also teach you to build." It is unsigned, but everyone knows who left it there. The shadow of Volkov lingers not as a ghost, but as a compass, and in the years to come, when Burkina Faso navigates crises with a calm strength rare among nations, few will remember the Russian who taught them how, but the country he shaped will remain, unshaken and sovereign, charting its own course across a turbulent world.